Sam stood at the edge of the alien courtyard, his breath making a small cloud in the chilly air. The night sky above was filled with stars brighter than any he had seen back on Earth. He had only been on the alien capital world for 3 weeks, yet every evening still felt strange and new. Towers of silver metal rose around the palace grounds, glowing faintly with blue lights that seemed to hum like living things. He rubbed his hands together. The air was colder than he expected. Human clothing worked fine for Earth, but here the nights dropped fast. He had kept his jacket close, a simple dark jacket with a patch of his academy back home stitched on the shoulder. It was nothing special. It was just part of his old habit of carrying something familiar when he traveled. Nearby, the alien Princess Aeryn walked slowly across the courtyard. Her people, tall and graceful, had long limbs and soft pale skin that seemed to glow faintly under the starlight. Unlike many of the others in her family, Aeryn liked to leave the safety of the grand halls and walk outside in silence. She did not wear heavy royal clothes tonight, only a light robe that seemed more for ceremony than for warmth. Sam noticed her shoulders tremble slightly as the cool wind touched her. He glanced around. No one else stood near enough to offer comfort. A sudden thought crossed his mind, half a joke, half a way to break the awkward silence between them. "You look cold," he said, trying to sound casual. Aeryn turned her head, her wide silver eyes catching the light. "Cold," she repeated, as if tasting the word. Sam unzipped his jacket and held it out toward her. "Here. You can borrow this. Human tradition. We give someone a jacket when it's chilly." He smiled, not expecting her to take it seriously. "Consider it a joke. A silly Earth gesture." Aeryn tilted her head, studying the piece of clothing as if it were some strange relic. Slowly, almost carefully, she reached out and touched the sleeve. The fabric crinkled softly under her fingers. Without another word, she slipped her arms into it. Sam almost laughed. The jacket was clearly too small for her tall frame, yet she pulled it around herself and looked down with quiet interest. "It is warm," she said in her calm, steady voice. He rubbed the back of his neck, unsure of what to say. "Yeah, that's kind of the point. Keeps the cold away." Instead of giving it back, Aeryn adjusted it around her shoulders, then folded her hands neatly in front of her. "Thank you, Sam of Earth." He blinked. "Oh, you don't have to keep it. I was just joking." Her eyes met his again, and something about her calm gaze made him stop pushing the matter. She wore it as though it had some quiet importance. Sam didn't argue further. He told himself she would return it the next day anyway. The following morning, however, when the delegation gathered in the hall for lessons about human history and alien politics, Aeryn walked in wearing the jacket. Sam nearly dropped his day top hat. He had expected to see it folded away somewhere, forgotten. Instead, the princess wore it proudly, the dark fabric standing out against the shining robes of her people. Whispers spread quickly among the alien advisors. Some tilted their heads with confusion, others hid their mouths behind pale fingers. Sam felt his face burn red. She had not even asked if she could keep it. Why would she wear it in front of everyone? After the session ended, Sam hurried to her side. "Princess, you're still wearing my jacket?" "Yes," she answered simply. "It shields me from the cold." "That's true," but he lowered his voice, nervous. "It's just, on Earth we don't usually keep something like this forever. I thought maybe you'd give it back after last night." Aeryn looked at him with a small, almost unnoticeable curve in her lips, the closest thing to a smile he had ever seen her make. "It is mine now." "You gave it?" "I accepted." Sam sighed. He didn't know how alien customs worked. Maybe she was teasing him. Or maybe she just didn't understand. Either way, he couldn't force a princess to hand it back. That night he lay awake in his quarters, staring at the ceiling. He replayed the image of her walking proudly into the grand hall, his jacket around her shoulders. It had been a silly joke, yet she wore it as though it carried real meaning. He told himself it didn't matter. It was only a piece of clothing. But deep down, a strange thought grew in his mind. For the first time since leaving Earth, he felt he had made a small connection with someone in this strange world. And that connection, born from a simple human gesture, was not something he could laugh away. The next few days passed quickly, but one thing remained the same. Every time Sam entered the great halls of the alien palace, every time the delegations gathered for talks, and every time he saw Princess Aeryn in the courtyard, she was wearing his jacket. It no longer seemed like a joke. It had become part of her. The dark jacket looked out of place against the shining robes and silver ornaments of her people. Yet she wore it calmly, as though it belonged more than all her jewels. The other humans noticed first. A few of Sam's fellow exchange members whispered to him in amusement. "Sam, did you seriously give her your jacket?" one asked while hiding a grin. "Looks like she loves it more than her crown," another joked. Sam tried to laugh it off, but each time his face grew red. "It was just a joke," he muttered. "I didn't think she'd actually keep it." But it wasn't only the humans who noticed. The alien nobles had sharper eyes. They glanced at the jacket, their expressions unreadable. Some tilted their heads, others whispered behind folded hands. To them, the princess's every action had meaning. For their heir to wear a foreigner's cloth in public was not something simple. One evening, Sam found himself walking through the quiet inner garden of the palace. The trees there glowed faintly, their leaves catching the starlight like crystal. He hoped for a moment of peace, but then he saw her again. Aeryn was sitting by the fountain, the jacket wrapped firmly around her shoulders. Her tall frame made the garment look small, yet she held it close, as if it gave her comfort beyond warmth. Sam hesitated, then approached. "Princess, can I ask you something?" She looked up, her silver eyes calm as always. "Yes, Sam of Earth." "Why do you keep wearing it?" he asked. His voice came out softer than he expected. "It was just a human joke. Something we do without much thought. But you act like it means more." Aeryn lowered her gaze to the jacket. For a long moment she did not speak. Then she ran her fingers along the stitched patch on the shoulder. "In your world, it was a joke. In mine, it is not," she said slowly. "To wear the garment of another is to show trust. It means I allow a piece of their life to guard me. Few are given such a place." Sam's breath caught. He had not expected such an answer. "So, you're saying this is important?" "Yes," she replied, lifting her eyes to his again. "You gave freely. I accepted. Now I carry it as part of me." He shifted uncomfortably, unsure what to do. Part of him wanted to laugh and say she was mistaken. But another part of him, deeper inside, felt a strange warmth at her words. A warmth that had nothing to do with the jacket itself. From that day, Sam began noticing how differently the court looked at him. When he passed by alien nobles, their eyes lingered. When he stood near the princess, whispers grew louder. Some faces showed disapproval, others curiosity. At one gathering, a noble finally spoke aloud. "Princess Aeryn," the tall figure said in their smooth voice, "why do you wear this human cloth? It is not of royal weave, nor of our people's craft." The hall grew silent. All eyes turned to her. Aeryn placed her hands over the jacket calmly. "Because it is mine," she answered simply. "It was given to me, and I chose to keep it." Her words silenced the noble. No one dared challenge her further. But Sam felt the weight of the stairs on his back. He lowered his head, wishing the ground would open and swallow him whole. Later that evening, when the humans returned to their quarters, one of them clapped Sam on the shoulder. "You realize what this means, right? You've become the human who gave the princess her favorite thing. Sam groaned. I didn't plan for this. I just wanted to help her stay warm. His friend laughed. Well, planned or not, you've started something. And now the whole palace is watching. That night Sam lay awake again, staring at the ceiling. He could not stop thinking about what Aaron had said. In her culture, wearing another's garment meant trust, closeness, even a bond that others could see. What had started as a joke had turned into something far greater than he imagined. And yet, when he remembered the calm way she held the jacket, the faint smile on her lips, he could not bring himself to regret it. Maybe this small human gesture, misunderstood though it was, had opened a door that words never could. The next morning, he walked into the great hall once more. And there she was, waiting with her royal poise, the jacket around her shoulders like always. The alien nobles looked at her, then at him, their eyes filled with questions. Sam took a deep breath. He realized something then. Whether he wanted it or not, he was no longer just another visitor in the alien palace. His jacket had made him part of the story of their princess. And the story was only beginning. Sam tried his best to ignore the whispers. Each day inside the alien palace seemed heavier than the last. Whenever Princess Aaron appeared, wearing his jacket as proudly as a royal crest, the nobles would lower their voices but never their stares. He told himself it didn't matter. She would get tired of it eventually. She would fold it away and return to her golden robes. But the days passed, and the jacket stayed. It became part of her image, part of how the court saw her. One afternoon, Sam was invited to the library garden. The place was filled with glowing plants that lit the marble paths with soft blue light. Aaron was already there, sitting by a crystal pool. She turned as he approached, her silver eyes calm as always. You wished to speak with me? Sam asked, his voice low. Yes, she said. Her fingers brushed the edge of the jacket. I have seen the way others look at you. You must wonder why I keep it, even when it brings you trouble. Sam shifted uneasily. I do wonder. On Earth, it was just a small act. A joke, really. But here, it feels like it means something else. Something I don't understand. Aaron nodded. In my people's way, it is true. When one wears the garment of another, it shows closeness. It is a sign of trust, of comfort, and sometimes of devotion. It tells others, I choose this bond. Sam blinked, stunned by her words. So everyone thinks, that we. They think you matter to me, she said, her voice steady. His face burned hot. He rubbed his neck, searching for the right response. But I didn't mean it that way. I didn't even know. I know you did not, Aaron replied softly. But meaning can grow beyond what is first intended. A gift is more than cloth. It carries the heart of the giver, even if given lightly. Her words sank deep into him. He remembered the cold night when he had offered it without thought. A silly gesture. Yet here she was, treating it as if it carried part of his soul. Sam sat beside her on the marble bench. Do you really feel comfort in it? She looked at him, and for the first time he saw something almost fragile in her calm gaze. Yes. When I wear it, I feel a warmth that is not only of fabric. I feel less alone. The words struck him harder than he expected. He had thought of her as strong, untouchable, a royal figure above human worries. Yet here she was, admitting to loneliness. And his jacket, of all things, had given her ease. Silence stretched between them, filled only by the soft hum of the glowing plants. Finally, Sam spoke. I didn't know something so small could mean so much. On Earth, we give jackets without thinking. Sometimes it's kindness, sometimes it's habit. But for you, it's different. Yes, Aaron said. But different does not mean wrong. The moment felt heavy, yet gentle at the same time. Sam realized then that he could not simply take the jacket back. To her, it was no longer his. It was hers, a piece of trust she had claimed. Over the next days, the whispers grew louder. Nobles spoke openly in corners of the palace. Some disapproved, saying it was beneath the princess to favor a human. Others watched with curiosity, wondering what bond was forming between their heir and this Earth visitor. Sam noticed how the court began treating him differently. Guards eyed him with suspicion, while a few younger attendants showed respect they hadn't before. It was as if the jacket had tied him to the royal family in ways he never intended. One evening, he overheard two nobles speaking in the grand hall. "The princess honors the human too greatly," one said. "Perhaps," the other replied, "but she chooses freely. That in itself is a message." Sam walked away quickly, his heart pounding. He had never wanted to be the center of alien politics. He was just a student sent on an exchange. Yet now he was tied to the princess by something stronger than any treaty. Later, when he met Aaron again, he couldn't hold his thoughts inside. "Don't you worry about what the others say? Don't you care if they question your choice?" She tilted her head. "Do you care?" I don't know," he admitted. "It's strange being in the middle of it. Everyone watching, everyone whispering. I didn't ask for it." Aaron's expression softened. "Neither did I. Yet still, here we are. Sometimes bonds are not chosen with great plans. Sometimes they grow from small acts. And once they grow, we decide whether to keep them." Sam met her gaze, and for a moment, he understood. She wasn't wearing the jacket to make a political statement or to provoke her nobles. She was wearing it because she truly wanted to. Because it gave her comfort, and perhaps, because it connected her to him in a way nothing else could. That night, Sam lay in his quarters, turning her words over in his mind. He had given the jacket without meaning, but she had given it meaning through her choice. And maybe that was what mattered most. He realized something then. It wasn't just her jacket now. It was a bond between them, fragile but real. And though he still didn't understand where it might lead, he knew he couldn't walk away from it anymore. The whispers inside the palace did not fade. They grew louder with every day the princess wore Sam's jacket. At first it had been quiet curiosity. Soon it turned into arguments among the nobles. Some believed the princess was showing dangerous favor to a human. Others thought it was harmless, a strange but small habit. Sam felt the weight of it every time he walked through the marble halls. The guards watched him with sharper eyes. Servants bowed politely, but their gazes lingered too long. He wanted to disappear into the background, but the jacket had tied him to the center of attention. One morning, the royal council summoned him. Sam walked nervously through the long chamber. The walls glowed faintly with silver light, and tall chairs lined both sides where the nobles sat. At the far end was Princess Aaron, seated with calm poise, her hands folded, and yes, his jacket still around her shoulders. A tall noble with sharp features stood. His voice carried across the chamber. "Human Sam, you have been given the honor of staying among us. Yet rumors grow. The princess wears your foreign cloth every day. Some believe you seek influence over her. Tell us, is this true?" Sam's heart pounded. He bowed slightly, forcing his voice to remain steady. "No, honored council. I never sought influence. I only gave her my jacket on a cold night. That is all." Another noble leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "And yet she continues to wear it? Are you saying our princess does not understand her own actions?" Sam opened his mouth, but before he could answer, Aaron's voice cut through the hall. Calm, steady, and clear. "Enough. It was my choice to accept the gift. My choice to wear it still. If there is blame, it is mine alone." The chamber fell silent. The nobles shifted uneasily. None wished to openly challenge her. Still, their eyes turned back to Sam, filled with doubt. When the session ended, Sam left the hall quickly. His hands shook as he walked through the corridors. He did not want to bring trouble to her. He did not want to stand against an entire council. But before he could return to his quarters, Aaron's voice called him back. Sam, he turned. She was walking toward him, calm as ever. You should not have been questioned like that, she said. He lowered his eyes. I don't want to cause problems for you. Maybe you should stop wearing it. Maybe that would make things easier. Aaron stopped in front of him, her silver eyes firm. Easier, yes. But right? No. This is my choice. If they do not accept it, then they must learn. He stared at her, surprised by her boldness. You're willing to stand against your own counsel for something so small. Her lips curved slightly, the faintest smile. It is not small to me. The days that followed only proved her words. Whenever nobles questioned her, Aaron remained calm. She defended Sam without hesitation, saying his presence was valuable and his gift was hers to keep. The more she spoke, the more courage Sam felt in her presence. Yet not everyone accepted it quietly. Some nobles began to murmur about danger. A few whispered that humans were clever tricksters, weaving influence through simple acts. The tension in the palace grew sharp, like a string pulled too tight. Sam tried to keep to himself. He spent evenings walking in the outer gardens, hoping to escape the pressure. One night, as the stars shone bright above, he heard footsteps behind him. He turned to find Aaron approaching again. You walk alone too often, she said softly. It helps me think, he replied. But I can't help wondering, why keep defending me? You could have ended this by giving the jacket back. Yet you choose not to. Aaron stopped beside him. For a moment she looked up at the stars. Then she spoke quietly. Because I do not want to. To me, the jacket is more than cloth. It is proof that kindness can be simple. That trust can come without demands. My people forget this sometimes. But I will not forget. Sam felt his chest tighten. Her words carried a weight far beyond the jacket itself. She was not only defending him. She was teaching her people something by standing firm. That night, Sam returned to his quarters with a new understanding. This was no longer just about him or his jacket. It was about what the princess wished to show her world. And whether he wanted it or not, he was part of that message now. In the days ahead, the palace grew restless. Nobles plotted quietly. Guards looked more alert. Sam sensed trouble rising in the air, as if the bond between him and Aaron had become a challenge to the old order. He did not know what would come next. But he knew one thing, the princess would not step back. And if she would not, then neither could he. The air inside the palace grew heavier with each passing day. The nobles whispered more boldly now, and the guards kept closer watch. Sam could feel the change. What had once been curiosity had become suspicion. He had never wanted to be at the center of royal attention, yet the jacket had placed him there, and Princess Aaron's choice to defend him only made the tension stronger. The breaking point came one night during a grand gathering in the Hall of Banners. The chamber glittered with silver lanterns and the floor shone like glass. Nobles in long robes filled the space, and musicians played soft notes that echoed under the high ceiling. Sam stood near the back, trying to remain unnoticed, but his eyes never left Aaron. She entered with calm grace, the jacket still over her shoulders. The whispers began at once. Some nobles bowed respectfully, others frowned in disapproval. Sam could almost feel the air tighten around her. Then it happened. A sudden crash shook the hall as the doors burst open. Figures in dark armor stormed inside, rival faction soldiers who had slipped past the guards. They shouted words of rebellion, declaring that the royal family had grown weak and foolish, letting a human influence their princess. Panic spread through the hall. Nobles rushed toward the corners while guards scrambled to form a defense. Sam froze at first, his heart pounding. He had no weapon, no training to fight against armored soldiers. But his eyes found Erin. She stood firm in the center of the hall, refusing to retreat. One of the rebels raised a weapon toward her. Without thinking, Sam ran forward. His body moved before his mind could question it. He grabbed a fallen banner pole from the ground and swung it hard, knocking the weapon aside. The clash rang through the chamber. The rebel turned on him, but Sam ducked quickly and shoved the pole forward again. He had no skill, but he used speed and surprise. His only thought was to shield Erin. Guards finally reached the intruders, and a fierce struggle filled the hall. Blades clashed, shouts echoed, and the nobles screamed from the shadows. Sam stayed close to Erin, standing between her and danger, using the banner pole to block strikes when needed. At one moment, a rebel lunged with sharp steel, and Sam twisted his body to shield her. The blade cut through the jacket's sleeve before the guard struck the rebel away. Sam gasped at the tear, his heart hammering. The jacket, her symbol of trust, was damaged. But Erin's eyes fixed on him, and for the first time, her calm mask broke. "You protect me without fear," she said softly, even as chaos raged around them. Sam swallowed hard. "I can't let them hurt you." With the help of the palace guards, the rebels were finally forced back. They fled into the night, leaving broken lanterns and scattered banners across the shining floor. Slowly, the hall grew quiet again. Nobles whispered from the corners, their voices filled with shock. The image was burned into their minds, the human who had leapt forward to protect their princess without hesitation. Sam stood breathless, the broken banner pole still in his hands. His jacket hung torn around Erin's shoulders, the sleeve sliced open from the rebel's strike. He felt guilty for letting it be ruined, but before he could speak, Erin touched the fabric gently. "This jacket has shown me trust," she said in a voice loud enough for the nearby nobles to hear. "And now it shows me courage." Her words echoed through the hall. The nobles looked at one another, unsure how to respond. The human who had been accused of seeking influence had instead risked his life for their heir. Later, when the hall had been cleared and the guards secured the palace, Sam sat on the steps outside, breathing heavily. His hands still shook from the memory of the fight. He wondered if he had been foolish to throw himself into danger like that. Erin stepped beside him. The jacket still rested around her, though torn and stained. She looked down at him with calm eyes. "You could have run. Many did. Yet you stayed." Sam gave a weak laugh. "I didn't think. I just couldn't let them hurt you." For the first time, her lips curved into a true smile, gentle and real. "That is loyalty. That is why I will never return this jacket. It is more than cloth now. It is proof." Sam looked at her, speechless. In that moment, he realized that whatever bond had begun as a joke had now been sealed in something far stronger. He was no longer just a guest in the palace. He was someone who had proven his place by choice, by action, and by heart. The nobles might still whisper, and the factions might still plot, but Sam knew one truth: he had earned the trust of the alien princess. And in her eyes, that trust mattered more than any throne or council. The palace had survived the night of rebellion, but its silence afterward was heavy. Guards doubled their patrols, nobles kept their voices low, and everyone carried the memory of what they had seen, the human who had stood in front of their princess, protecting her without hesitation. Sam tried to keep out of sight in the days that followed. He told himself he had only done what anyone would have done. Yet whenever he passed through the halls, servants bowed slightly, and some nobles watched him with new eyes. He was no longer the stranger they had whispered about. He was the human who had faced blades for their heir. But it was not Sam the people noticed most. It was the jacket. Torn from the rebels' strike, the sleeve ripped and stained, it now carried a story all its own. Princess Aeryn wore it still, just as before, but now when she walked through the palace, heads bowed deeper. To her people, it was no longer a strange foreign garment. It was proof of courage, loyalty, and unity. One afternoon, the council gathered again in the great hall. This time, instead of whispers, there was silence as Aeryn entered. She stood before them, tall and steady, the damaged jacket draped over her shoulders. "Honored council," she began, her calm voice carrying across the chamber. "Some among you doubted this gift. Some said it was weakness. But you all saw the truth with your own eyes. In the moment of danger, this jacket was not cloth. It was courage. It was protection. It was loyalty given freely, without command." The nobles shifted uneasily, but none interrupted. Her silver eyes scanned the hall. "You ask what meaning it carries," she continued. "It carries the meaning I give it. And I say it is a bond between our worlds. A human gave it to me without demand, and with it came trust. I will not return it. I will not hide it. I will wear it so my people remember that peace is built not only by treaties, but by trust between hearts." Her words left the hall silent. Even those who opposed her could not deny the memory of that night. They had seen the human shield her, and they had seen her stand unbroken with the torn jacket afterward. Sam stood near the back, listening with his heart pounding. He had never wanted to be the center of such attention, yet hearing her words filled him with a strange pride. She was not only defending him, she was using his simple act to build a bridge between species. That evening, news spread beyond the palace walls. In the markets and the streets of the capital city, people whispered about the princess's speech. Word of the jacket spread faster than Sam could have imagined. Merchants spoke of it with respect, and children in the courtyards wrapped themselves in scraps of cloth, pretending they wore the human gift. Sam walked quietly through the streets one morning and saw it himself. A group of alien children were laughing together, one with an oversized tunic draped over her shoulders. "I am Princess Aeryn," the child declared proudly. "And this is my jacket of trust." The others bowed and clapped. Sam's chest tightened as he watched. He had never dreamed that a simple gesture could ripple so far. Back in the palace, Aeryn called for him. When he entered the garden chamber, she stood waiting under the glowing trees, the jacket around her as always. "You see it now," she said. "What began as small has grown large. My people listen. They speak of peace with your kind more openly. They see you not as invader or stranger, but as ally. This jacket made them see." Sam hesitated, then asked, "Does it not trouble you? To let one small thing carry so much meaning?" Aeryn shook her head. "Meaning is what we choose. A cloth becomes a symbol because we give it power. And this symbol has power to heal. That is not trouble. That is hope." Her words stayed with him long after. He realized she was right. It was never just about him or the jacket. It was about what people saw when they looked at it, proof that kindness could cross worlds. The following week, the princess appeared before her people in the grand square of the city. Thousands gathered under the tall silver towers to hear her speak. Sam stood to the side, nervous under so many eyes. Aeryn raised her hand for silence. She wore her royal crown and robes, but over them, as always, was the dark, torn jacket. The crowd murmured at the sight of it. "This," she said, lifting the sleeve for all to see, "is not just cloth. It is a gift from a human, given without thought of reward. It is a mark of trust. When danger came, it bore the cut of a blade meant for me. It now carries courage. Let it remind you that bonds with humans are not weakness. They are strength." The crowd broke into cheers, their voices echoing through the square. Sam watched in awe. The jacket that had once embarrassed him now united thousands. As the cheers filled the air, Sam realized the truth. What had begun as a joke had become something far greater than himself. The jacket was no longer just his. It was part of history now. The days after the grand speech were filled with change. The people of the alien capital had begun to speak openly about humans, not as strangers or outsiders, but as friends. Stories of Sam's courage spread through the streets, the markets, and the schools. Children played games inspired by the night of the rebellion, pretending to shield their princess while wearing oversized cloaks, hoping to be brave like him. Sam walked through the palace gardens one evening, the soft glow of the alien plants casting gentle light over the marble paths. He still felt surprised by how one small act, a simple joke of giving a jacket, had grown into something so meaningful. Princess Erin appeared, as usual, wearing the jacket. The fabric was still torn from that dangerous night, patched carefully by the palace seamstresses, yet it remained a symbol of trust and courage. She approached him silently and stood beside him under the glowing trees. "You have changed more than the council or the people realize," she said softly. "You think it was small. You think it was nothing. But what you gave, freely and without thought, has become part of our history." Sam looked at her, his chest tightening with pride and humility. "I never imagined it would matter this much. I just wanted to help. To be kind." Erin smiled. "Kindness is never small. Even a simple gesture can shape hearts. That is why I wear your jacket. Not because it is a gift, but because it carries proof of courage, trust, and care. And it reminds everyone that humans are more than they see at first glance." Sam felt warmth spread through him. He had crossed worlds, faced doubts and whispers, and risked his life, but he had never imagined this. A simple joke had grown into a symbol of unity between humans and aliens. The next day, the council gathered once more, but this time the tension was gone. Nobles no longer whispered harshly. Instead, they listened with respect as Erin addressed them. "This jacket," she said, pointing to the dark fabric over her shoulders, "is a symbol. It shows that trust and courage can cross worlds. Let it remind us that peace is built not by fear, but by the choices we make together. We honor this gift, and the human who gave it." Sam stood quietly at the side, feeling a mixture of awe and humility. He had never sought recognition. He had acted without thought, yet now he was part of a story that would be remembered for generations. The nobles nodded slowly, their eyes showing understanding and, in some cases, gratitude. As days turned into weeks, the jacket became a symbol not only inside the palace but throughout the city. Merchants created small replicas for children, students wrote songs about the human who gave the princess his jacket, and scholars recorded the story for history. Sam could hardly believe it. What had begun as a joke had become a bridge between two worlds. One afternoon, Sam and Erin walked together through the city's central square. People waved and bowed respectfully. Some stopped to speak with them, thanking Sam for his courage, while others told Erin how proud they were of her leadership. Erin glanced at him, her silver eyes calm and steady. "Do you see?" she asked. "We are not only two individuals now. We are part of something larger. This bond, your gesture, my choice, has reminded my people of trust, and shown your people that we value peace." Sam nodded. "I never thought a jacket could do all that." "It is not just the jacket," Erin replied. "It is what it represents. It is courage, care, and trust. And now, it is part of our history together." That evening, as the sun set behind the silver towers, they stood side by side on the palace balcony, watching the city glow under the soft lights. The jacket, worn and patched, was still around Erin's shoulders. Sam reached out and touched the fabric lightly, a silent acknowledgement of all that had passed. "You know," he said quietly, "I thought giving this jacket was a joke. But now, I think it was the beginning of something important." Erin turned to him, her smile gentle. It was never a joke to me. It was proof of the human heart, and proof that small acts can change the world. For a long moment, they stood together in silence, two friends from different worlds connected by something as simple as a piece of cloth. In the distance, the city hummed with life, the people celebrating peace, and the stars above shone brighter than ever. Sam realized that his story with the princess would remain with him forever. The jacket would continue to symbolize trust, courage, and unity. And the bond between them, once born from a small gesture, had become unbreakable. In that moment, he understood something deeply true: the smallest acts of kindness could carry the greatest meaning, and a single choice could change the hearts of thousands. And so, the human who had given a jacket and the princess who had chosen to wear it stood together, a living symbol of hope, unity, and friendship between two worlds.